Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Borough in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington. Have you with us? Thank you for joining us on Sportsline Trivia. Today is second Monday in March. We're getting close to St. Patrick's Day. George Guido joins me tonight. George, good to have you with us.
Nice to be here, Bob.
A great run for the Borough Bucks, boys and girls. Now, the girls are still in it.
Right. They play Sharpsville tomorrow night.
Tuesday night. Now, there are two audiences for the show. One is a Monday night live stream. So if you're watching this on a Thursday, and Borough has already been determined whether or not they're moving on. Yeah. Please, we know what we're talking about. But anyway, I'm trying to think now, seven playoff games altogether.
It's been a nice run.
I haven't had that many for, who knows how long.
Yeah.
And when it was, again, you and I spoke about this, when was the last time that Borough, boys and girls, played together and went that far?
Never.
70?
Never. Now, They both made the playoffs in 79. There was a couple times where they both made. In 1984, everybody made the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
Everybody and their brother made it. They took everybody that year. But as far as the PIAA playoffs go, this is the first time that Borough boys and girls have ever made it at the same time. Now, tomorrow night, if Borough wins, will be the furthest the Borough girls have ever gone.
Okay.
They've never lasted more than 2 games into the state playoffs, and they have a good chance of defeating Sharpsville. And now you get to the point, Bob, where everybody you play is good.
Right, so there are no softies.
Yeah.
All right, so let me give you the phone number, 724-236-0430. Keep that in mind, jot it down, whatever you want to do. We do have a caller on the line, but we're going to, of course, take our first break. We also want to go through rules and regulations for winning prizes. And that, of course, is that you can only win but every other week at your household address, no matter who calls. So brothers and sisters, wives, uncles and aunts, all living in the same home. It's one per household address. The Grand Salami or the Mystery Profile is once in a month. And you can only try the Mystery Profile once in a calendar month. 15 seconds for multiple choice. The Grand Salami at 20 seconds, Mystery Profile. We try to get you to go fairly quickly on that, clue by clue. First-time callers will win 2 or more prizes with a correct answer. Anybody that is not called in a year is new meat, as they say. And my website has the answers to the trivia questions. One of them came in question tonight. I got an email from one of our viewers. And anyway, listen to my radio show Saturday morning. You have 2 choices, or you can listen to them twice. It's the same show.
Miss something the first time, you can pick it up again.
Saturday morning, 7:30, WGBN on the old 1150, and WAVL 910 on the dial at 10 o'clock. And those are the 2 stations that have the program here in this area. Okay, let's do the break. We're going to come back. We do have a caller to go. We've got some folks in the audience, and folks, if you want to take a brief moment to wave, go ahead and wave. And you'll notice there's a little familiarity with some of those who wave in our audience. Oh yeah, I see them out at Liberty Tax all the time. Okay, let's take a break. George and I will return and be back in a moment. Stay with us. Since 1914, people in the local area have relied on the Resevich family in deepest time of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley. Its reputation and unquestionable service speaks for itself. Now the proud tradition of service continues with a fourth generation. The Resevich family serves the AK Valley from two locations, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road, Lower Burrell. Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Faldarelli Square.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Okay, folks, and if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, my advice is to head over to Tower Auto Sales, where you get the best products, the best selection, best customer communication, and best service after the sale. Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. Get a hold of Mike Fanto at 412-828-6202. Before we get started, just one quick reminder. We're going to give away some T-shirts, and I don't know how many we have, but at least one person tonight is going to walk away with a T-shirt, or we'll send one out in the mail, okay? 236-0430, and it's area code 724. And Tony from Lower Arnold kicks it off tonight. Tony, good evening.
Hey, gentlemen, how are you?
Hi, Tony.
Wonderful.
That's great. Now, the Penguins. If they play that way the rest of the year, nobody can touch them.
I don't believe so. They're on a roll.
If, that's the big word.
Well, that's, you have to have so many things going right for you to win a Stanley Cup. And right now, I'd say the Penguins are maybe the third best team in the league behind Boston and Chicago. I would say now they have the second most points in the Eastern Conference next to Montreal. But
right.
I think we can all agree the Penguins are in the upper echelon right now of the National Hockey
And
League.
right now they're picking up the slack with Malkin to be out.
Yes.
So.
Well, he'll be out for, a couple of weeks, they said. Shoulder injury?
Shoulder injury.
Yeah.
Or as they like to say, upper body injury. I don't know who started that.
I don't know. But they said it was a shoulder.
Yeah.
Today I heard. In the meantime, excuse me, they were talking last night on the show, sports show, about they think they need another winger, and some of the guys disagree. They said, well, if they do get another winger, it'll be for the third line, but what they need is a big man standing right at the net.
Right, like Hal Gill did in 1989.
All the other teams' players just stand in front of the net.
Yeah.
And we gave away our big men. We don't have any anymore, and that's what kills us. That's exactly what kills us. That's exactly what we need.
Yeah.
We need some muscle right there.
Hal Gill was perfect.
He's just got to be a big guy that can move real estate out of the way.
Right. Hal Gill did that in '89, and the next year he went to Montreal, and you're watching the playoffs in 2010, I should say.
Yeah.
And against Montreal, the Penguins lost because Hal Gill was playing for Montreal, and the Penguins needed Hal Gill to be playing for the Penguins, and he wasn't. Thus, Montreal won that series in his last series at Pacific Arena.
Everybody for Montreal, Gill.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, they can.
We're here. Go ahead.
If they can get somebody like a Hal Gill, I think they'd be all right.
I know, but they're not like a dime a dozen out there either. Those kind of guys. But
there are certain guys that can do that job.
Yeah, right. And you figured that the Penguins, with all the draft choices, they would groom one themselves, but they haven't done it. They look like strictly offense. That's all Lemieux wants. He thinks that he could outshoot anybody, but it's proven wrong.
Yeah, so often in the playoffs, been getting a lot of goals lately, but when the playoffs come and everybody's playing close to the vest, Tony, it's going to be tough to keep that goal scoring up.
You
there.
don't win games 6-5 or 7-0 or whatever it is in the playoffs. Very, very seldom you'll win a game like that. But you know what? At the beginning of the season, before they started it, they picked the Penguins were favorite to go all the way.
Yeah.
So who knows? It's up to them. And
things are going well. I was coming out of the Consol Energy Center last night after the game, and people I was talking to, it's a shame they don't have an all-star game this year because Chris Kunitz is having an all-star season. If anybody is ever having
that's true. That's but they said he would do well, with Crosby and that, and it's proven that, and I wouldn't mess with that line.
No.
Not at all. Keep it intact as long as you can. Unless there's injuries, then that's a different game.
Then you have to go back to square one. It's a shame, Tony. What I was thinking about when I was listening to one of the sports shows today talking about possible Penguin trades. It's a shame Ray Shero can't find a Neil Huntington-type general manager in the National Hockey League where you can get a good player and give up practically nothing for him, give up a few table scraps, an 18th or 19th skater like Neil Huntington is so enamored with these guys that are the 24th and 25th man on a baseball roster. It's a shame there's not a Neil Huntington-type general manager in the National Hockey League that you can just fleece
that he can get
year
something
after
off
year.
of. Yeah, that's that. But there's only one Neil Huntington. So.
And unfortunately, he's here, and he's going to be here for a long time.
Oh, hey, making $20 million, put nothing out on the field, all them suckers going down. Hey, you know what? If I owned a bar, you walked in, and you ordered a whiskey, and I gave you water, and you drank it and paid for it. You think I'm going to give you whiskey next time you come in? I'm going to feed you water, baby.
Good comparison, Tony.
Yes,
good comparison.
And that's exactly what's happening down there. They keep going to the game. They don't realize that that they're the problem. As long as they keep paying for them tickets, hey, I'm going to feed them water.
Yeah, there's no incentive for the front office to put a winner on the field.
Oh, heck no. Why? Why? Why spend all that money? When they could pocket it. But
Right.
you know what? I blame baseball. I blame Major League Baseball for this. And they should step in and have rules and regulations about this. You have to put a decent product on the field, and you have to spend so much money. And
Or put it another way, Tony, you have to finish at a certain level, or you can't go through the drought that we have gone through. Didn't they take over Montreal, the Major League Baseball?
Yes, they did.
Took over.
Didn't they take the Dodgers over nationally? I mean,
And it's happening.
Well, that was just a brief time. That was because of their financial
but you know what? They
problems.
were winning.
Yeah.
But the
Take
point
us
is,
over, please.
But the point is, you make a good point by saying that if you don't put a winning product on the field, and the proof is in your winning percentage, and you go so many years without producing, then I don't know what the legalities are with this thing. But
they're still getting money from all the big time teams, right?
Right.
See that? And hey, jeez, oh man, you know what?
We should be so lucky.
They thought
Tom.
Brinks was a big robbery. The Pirates have him beat, believe me.
All right.
Made Jesse James look like a piker.
Yeah.
They get money from free there, then the fans are going down, and oh my God.
This year, Tony, will be the first time in 41 years that I will not have season tickets, a season ticket package, or a season ticket package that I'm participating in with friends. Last year was more or less my Waterloo when they were in the midst of the greatest collapse in baseball history. And 2 weeks before the season was over, Frank Coonley said, everybody in the front office is coming back. That was my tipping point. I always wondered when my tipping point was going to be. It was last September when they announced that everybody was coming back.
George,
Now,
what you should do is opening days, go down there, stand in front of the stadium, say, free at last, free at last. Turn around and go to a good restaurant.
but what I will do now, I mean, if they ever oust Neil Huntington for whatever reason,
You'll come back.
I'll be back, and I
You'll
do
be
have
back,
money
huh?
saved
Well.
up. It's just that right now I'm
Let's hope
spending
you
my
live
money.
that long, buddy.
I'm spending my money on teams that really try to win. Like I went to the Penguin game last night. I went to about 4 Pitt basketball games this year. You try to win, I'll come and see you. You don't try to win, I'm done.
Tony, we're up at trivia time here, so what'll it be?
Let's go for the salami. What the heck?
All right.
George, you want to do
Let's
the
see,
honors?
give us a number between 1 and 5, Tony.
Let's go with 1 today.
Okay, number 1. For the number 1 guy in the all-time grand salami list here. Putting pressure on you, Tony. Here we go.
Always pressure.
Name the only NFL quarterback to have 3 consecutive postseason games of throwing for 400 yards in each. That's a lot of passing. Name the NFL quarterback.
The only
one, the one and only who threw for 400 yards in 3 consecutive postseason games. 20 seconds, Tony.
How about, Dan Faust?
Is that your final answer? Sorry, Tony.
Again.
Drew Brees.
Who?
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Yeah, he's had a lot of great years, and
Oh, yeah.
when New Orleans won it all, that was one of them.
All right, Tony. Hey, thanks for the call.
Hey, we'll see you guys.
Better luck next week. Let's go to Mark, who's calling on a break from work. Mark, good evening.
Good evening, fellas.
Good evening. What a dedicated viewer.
I wish I could be. I wish I could view it, but yeah, I don't have. Do you think that Alex Rodriguez might be out for this whole season? Because I heard on the radio today that the Yankees were checking in to bring in Chipper Jones out of retirement.
Yeah.
Maybe for an insurance policy for this year.
Yeah. They're
Boy.
thinking now that A-Rod might not be able to come back. He's going to be out at least until the All-Star break. Now Mark Teixeira, great player. His mother went to Highlands High School. He's going to be out for at least until the middle of May, I believe it is. Now Jeter's coming back from an injury. They have Curtis Granderson, who I talked with a guy at one of the Toledo newspapers that covered the Tigers when Granderson was there. Just said he was one of the most delightful pro athletes he's ever had to deal with. Curtis Granderson is going to be out for a while. So the Yankees are really crippled coming into the season. And you know, playing in the American League East, Mark, you can't afford to get too far behind there.
Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. Yeah, because the way their injuries now, Rivera's announcing his retirement after this season, so they might be in trouble. And another thing with the Pirates, every year you hear, I've never seen anybody so optimistic in saying, that they're going to do better. It'd be like somebody on a Titanic saying, well, there's just a little bit of water in the bottom of the ship. I mean, every year, week after week, we're going to have a, good team this year. And I mean, I just can't, why can't anybody ever speak the truth? Of course, then maybe they'd be afraid of losing their jobs.
That's true. I mean, look at John Parato, one of the, in my estimation, one of the top baseball writers around. He was with the Beaver County Times for a number of years. They had some employment cutbacks, so he was actually working for the Pirates website under Bob Nutting. And he made a quote late in the season. The Pirates and the San Diego Padres were playing in one of the most horrible games of all time. It ended up something like 11-10 in extra innings, and it was one of the more poorly played baseball games of all time. And an usher told John Parato that this must have been what an inter-squad game of the 1962 New York Mets looked like. He put it in his column, and he was gone within a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Now, he's doing well financially. I mean, he's covering various sports now, and he still has a couple of baseball writing gigs. But your point is, and rightfully so, that never has heard a discouraging word, or you're out the door.
I mean, I've followed baseball too many years. I'm just, fed up with like you said, George. I haven't been to games for a few years, working the weird shift here, but the way they're the season tickets. But like Tony says, though, if they're going to keep selling it, like you said, watering down the booze, and like a certain beer was, accused of, and people still buy it, then why not?
Yeah, they have no incentive to put a winning team on the field.
I bought a case of this certain beer 2 weeks ago at Myrna's, and it's good. Tastes good to me.
There you go.
That's the king of beers.
All right.
I guess I better go for my multiple choice.
All right, my turn? Okay. You have question number 1 as we kick into the rotation. Is that what we're starting with? Number 1? I'm sorry, number 9. Number 9. All right, you ready, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Name the only league MVP. We're not telling you which one he was in. Name the only league MVP who never played in a Major League Baseball All-Star game since the All-Star game was introduced. Okay?
Okay.
So your possibilities are Kirk Gibson, Jimmy Pearsall, Rocky Colavito, or Roy Campanella.
How about Roy Campanella because his career was cut short?
No, unfortunately not it. Kirk Gibson, the answer. George and I were talking about this before airtime, and it just happened to be that he was healing from different injuries, and he just...
What you would say, oft injured. He played baseball with a football mentality, and he was hurt a lot, including the 1988 World Series, for which he is most well known for.
Isn't he supposedly, I heard something on the radio last week, he might be going into the College Hall of Fame?
College Football Hall of Fame.
Football, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for Michigan.
Yeah,
for
played
Michigan.
for Michigan State, yeah. He's
Okay,
a great
well, you
football
guys
player.
have a good week, and hopefully I can call next week.
All right,
Good
appreciate
hearing
it,
from you.
Mike. All right, break time on the program. Let's do that pause right now. We'll be right back at 236-0430.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com, where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough. And I want to remind you about Mattio's Pizza and our mystery profile, and that comes up whenever you want it to come up. We have a couple of clues for you to identify somebody that's in the world of sports, and Mattio's, of course, is our sponsors. Everything on Mattio's menu made with quality ingredients: hand-tossed pizzas, gyro sandwiches, subs and hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and a lot more. Their signature sandwich remains the Iron Man Hoagie. Now located at 1000 Broadview Boulevard in Brackenridge Heights. Their phone number, 724-904-7312. Take another gander at our audience here tonight, coming in from every direction. We have some folks, obviously, from Liberty Tax Service filling up the seats. So, thank you for coming tonight. And one of you guys get ready, because I'm going to have you do the takeaway break. Would you do that again for us this week? Would you? Okay. All right. All right, we're going to go to the phone. I don't know who's on the line. We do have, you guys want to jump on the microphone. We're going to get you in the second half hour. Who's on the phone with us?
Nobody else but the old Remo man.
Okay, good to have you. What's on your mind?
On my mind is I gave Kim Novak's husband, doubledribblebob.com, last week.
Whose husband?
Timmy Novak.
Novak.
Kim Novak Jr.
80 years old.
Oh, she's still.
She's still around, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you should be watching that Turner Classic Movies, Robert.
I didn't realize she was still around.
Yeah. I think she's more than 80, isn't she?
No.
No? Okay.
No, that's all. And I talked to her.
How do you do all
I
this?
interviewed her for 2 hours on TCM last week.
What'd you
So I
do?
just want to let you know, and your
Okay.
commercial for Arnold Furniture on TV Land is great. I told KDKA to get you back doing the Rasevich Funeral Home. Because you're better.
Well,
And they're just dying to hear from you.
okay. So what about sports? Let's go.
Did you hear about James Harrison? He's meeting this week with the Cleve Brownies.
You know, there were two teams I didn't want to see him go to. Was Cleveland or Cincinnati. In fact, or Baltimore.
Yeah.
Or Baltimore.
Well, Baltimore has so many salary cap problems. I don't think they can go out and sign
they
anybody.
wouldn't. You know what? But the quarterbacks are thin as far as availability in this free agency thing, and surprisingly, a lot of offensive tackles are out there. So,
Yeah.
you think we?
Now, did you know who Frank Haller was, Bob?
I missed that.
Frank Haller.
Frank Haller.
Oh, Haller.
Haller. He was the ad man that helped Myron Cope with Charity Golf.
Okay.
And he passed away, unfortunately, March the 6th.
I'll be darned.
So I thought with your knowledge, or Tony from Lower Arnold, you would know that.
I didn't.
I know.
See, you learn something new every day.
Thanks, Limo
That's
Man.
right. I'm ready for multiple choice. Don't hang up because I got to do the Harry Callis routine.
Okay. Here we go. Trivia question for the Limo Man. This is a multiple choicer, and the
Right.
question is, Willie Stargell, the great man of baseball, when he began his career with the Pirates in 1963, whom did he succeed as the team's first baseman? Now, was it Bob Bailey, Dick Stewart, Jim Marshall, or Don Clendenin? In other words, who's the Pirates' first baseman in '62?
Don Clendenin.
You know what? We're gonna go ahead. I'll tell you why. We get into a debate over this. The one book where I got the question and the answer was so closely tied with MLB that I thought it was a sure thing. But we got into a discussion about it, and the answer that they gave was Dick Stewart.
Oh, from
But-
California.
Well, no, he went to Boston.
Yeah, he went to the Red Sox and
And became the first guy to have 30 home runs in either league.
in both leagues. Yeah.
So we're gonna give you that. It happens to be a toss up between Stewart and Clendenin, and who else would have possibly would have been there?
Bob Bailey.
No,
Well,
he
Bob
was a
Bailey
third
was
baseman.
strictly a third baseman at that point. But
Well,
yeah,
I said Don
Stargell's-
Clendenin.
yeah, Clendenin did a great job for the Pirates for a while there. Then he was chosen by the Expos in the 1969
Expansion, yeah.
draft. But congratulations, you're a winner.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Clearwater to see Scott Franzke
Hey, there you
and
go.
Larry Anderson with AM 1210 next week or so.
Well,
All right.
give us your call before you leave.
There's a long drive in deep right center field, and this ball is for Andy Schaefer from Burrell McDonald's, Gino Paluso, and his gorgeous secretary, Stacy.
All right, Limo
All
Man.
right, it's always going to deep right center field. They never hit the ball in left center field. At Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, I think it's a lot easier on the left field side. But
All right, Limo Man, thank you. All right, guys, can we want to switch into the audience now? Is that what we're going to do? Okay,
Yeah, someone
Paul,
in-
we're gonna take you next, okay? All right, anytime. And we're not ready for the break yet, girls, so hang in there. Paul, you want to jump up to
Yeah.
the mic? And thank you, by the way, for coming into the studios here in downtown Leechburg. Appreciate it. Good to have you.
Just had a question. If you guys were to make your own,
Selection? Choice? Apple pie?
a little nervous. It's out in Colorado. There's the 4 presidents.
Oh,
Mount
that's
Rushmore.
that's up in Dakota.
That's South Dakota.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. If you guys were to make Mount Rushmore of your favorite
Sports people?
sport casters, your favorite, not
Oh, sportscasters.
yeah, not who you think is the best, but who your personal favorites. Who would the 4 be?
Yeah. Let me make a quick list of my own here. George, you can.
Kind of nervous.
Well,
You might
let's start off with Bob Prince. Now, he's not nationally known, but he just had a few gigs on national TV, but he meant so much to the Pittsburgh area in the years he was with the Pirates. I'm going to start off with Bob Prince.
All right, so that's one. One guy I go back in the 70s. When hockey was on 1 day a week, they had a broadcaster by the name of Dan Kelly,
Yeah, the St.
now
Louis Blues.
deceased.
Yeah.
Okay, he was with the St. Louis Blues, and he was one
Yeah.
heck of a guy.
I used to listen to him on radio every night, so I'm familiar with him.
And I have nothing against the modern guys, but I'm going to go back and try to
Okay.
get some of the older folks.
How about Ray Scott? You
There's-
worked with him a
Yeah,
little
I
bit,
did.
didn't you?
Yeah, let me put down Ray Scott for sure. Okay, Bob Prince, Dan Kelly, Ray Scott, and we have covered, quite a selection now. Myron Cope, I don't know that I'd put him in that, only because he really didn't do. He was there for play-by-play.
Yeah, he
And
wasn't a
did lot.
broadcaster that long,
Right,
comparatively
because
speaking.
he wrote for
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me pass him up for the moment.
How about Jack Buck?
Jack Buck, and you know what? How can you pass up guys like Harry Callis,
Right.
Harry Carey?
Right.
Yeah.
We
Michael
need two
Hamilton.
Mount Rushmores, to be honest with you. But I'll give you 3 of them right there. I'll go with George with his selection of Bob Prince, but I would love to add Dan Kelly and certainly Ray Scott.
Right.
Then you had guys like Kurt Gotti, Chris Schenkel,
Oh, yeah.
Keith Jackson. By the way, a story about Keith Jackson was he covered one of the Steeler games, and he was walking across that bridge because his hotel was at the point.
Okay,
Right.
probably
And
the
they,
old Hilton.
and they were doing construction work, and it was raining, cats and dogs. And he was coming across, he made that turn around where the sidewalk was, and he accidentally bumped into one of those horses that, not a live horse, those
Wooden horses.
horses that, like a barrier. He went right over and he rolled down the entire hill.
Wow.
He got up, and nobody knew who he was. He walked back into, what's the name of that real ritzy place, the Towers?
Hilton Towers.
The
yeah.
Hilton,
Right.
and covered with mud, trying to convince these people who he was and what room he was in. But anyway, aside from that, a lot of good choices,
Right.
really.
Right. Yeah, mine would be Brent Musburger, NFL Today, and then Brian Gumbel, used to do the NFL back in the day. Chris Schenkel and Don Criqui.
Now, there's,
Yeah.
Don Criqui. I don't know that he does that much anymore, but boy, he was voice of NBC
I wonder
for
what
a
happened
long,
to
long
the
time.
guy.
He still does CBS part-time, and I think Notre Dame football, and I read he does Patriots preseason TV games.
And I can remember as a kid, there was they did a morning show similar to what
Right.
goes on today with, Good Morning America,
Right.
whatever. His name was Jack Lascouli, and he kept that name. Never changed it to like
Right.
Jack Smith or
Right.
Jack Prince or whatever. Jack Lascouli, and he would do the sports every morning. And there wasn't anything particularly unique about the guy. It was just there was something about his name and what he did made a good presentation. How about
One guy we're leaving out that I've always liked for a long time is Dick Enberg.
Oh, I could never
Oh,
stand.
my
I mean,
gosh.
he was good, but personally, I didn't care for him.
You know, like
Nice.
his, oh my!
how is he healthy still?
Yes, he's doing
yeah.
Padre baseball games.
Yeah, he does a few of the Padre games on their
Right.
cable
Okay.
system out there.
Right.
But he's more or less
Oh,
retired from
how
it
about
anyway.
Hank Thompson from the Baltimore Orioles?
Chuck Thompson.
Chuck Thompson.
yeah,
What'd they
yeah.
say, Hank?
He broadcast two of the greatest sporting events in history. Number one was the Game 7 of the World Series in 1960. In fact, he messed up on who was warming up in a bullpen when Mazeroski was batting.
I'll be
The
darned.
guy felt terrible about it for years, but you know, they gave him a chance to do a voiceover. You know, when they started to make recordings of Mazeroski's home run, he goes, "No, I made the mistake. Leave it the way it is." To his credit.
I'll be darned.
Then, 2 years earlier, in 1958, he broadcast the game that has been called the greatest game in NFL history, just because it was one of the first games that was nationally televised before a wide audience, when the Colts played the New York Giants for the NFL title.
Oh, jeez.
And it was the first overtime game in pro football history. And it captivated, at the time, 45 million people. And for at that time, that was just a phenomenal amount of people.
That's major.
Compared to, you know, the fact that not everybody had TV back then. But later on, if we have some time between calls and guests,
I'd
I wanted
love to
tell you a story that Dick Modulewski told me about that game,
okay.
from Harbrack High School. But Paul, you ready for a trivia question?
Yes.
We have to run to a break.
Right. I'll take multiple choice.
All right. I don't even know where we are.
Okay, we are down below the Clendenin one there, number 2.
Okay, number 2. This is a good one. I just came across this one the other day.
Very good.
Check your monitor. What Pirate hit a walk-off home run? It happened to be the last of the 10th inning, by the way. And he won a combined no-hit game. The two pitchers that combined, Francisco Cordova pitched the first 9, and Ricardo Rincon came in the 10th. This was the last of the 10th, a home run, and it was a walk-off. And it's, by the way, the first time that two pitchers combined, according to this source, for a no-hitter. First game ever. So your choices are Mark Smith, Kevin Young, Tony Womack, remember Tony, and Sean Dunston.
I have no idea. Kevin Young.
Yeah, it was Mark Smith. And you know what? Of all names on there,
Right.
I would so easily forget, especially when you're looking at people like Dunston and Young and Womack. But it turned out to be Mark Smith. But anyway, Paul, thanks for coming up
Thank
and
you,
making
good
the
show.
trip, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
All right, break time here on the program. And do we have somebody who wants to come up and say we'll be back in a moment? I need somebody.
Or else we can't come back from commercial.
That's it. That's the mic. Go ahead.
We'll be right back.
Good. All right.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380, Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380, Murraysville.
Why do Arnold Furniture's customers continue to come back year after year? Maybe it's the personal touch that the Miller family has provided since 1975. Maybe it's the prices that are consistently lower than the competition. Or how about the selection? 4 floors of living room, dining room, recliners, bedding, accessories, and so much more. Plus free local delivery, free setup, and free removal of your old furniture guaranteed. The choice is obvious. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. Stop up to 31 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the new Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Toronto and Freeport Road in Trona Heights. And if you're shopping for a pre-owned vehicle, stop in at Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox. Tower Auto Sales features pre-owned Lexus products. You can let their experienced staff help you in making your selection. 30 years plus at the same location. Call Mike Fanto at Tower Auto Sales at 412-828-6202 and just buy it. George?
All right, and don't forget my book, Ali Kiski Sports History. It's on sale now at Costello's Printing in Tarentum, also at the Hot Dog Guys in Lower Burl, and at the Kling & Smith Pharmacy chain in Armstrong County, Leechburg, Freeport, Katanning, Ford City, etc. Ali Kiski Sports History on sale now for $19.95.
Okay. All right, just for the heck of it, before we get somebody else here at the microphone, I want to get down through these broadcasters again. Okay, we mentioned Harry Callis. Harry Carey. Great story about Harry Carey and Elvis Presley. You heard about that?
No, I don't.
This goes back to the 60s. And Carey was doing for one of the Memphis television stations the Final Four.
Okay.
And his phone rings, and the accent is unmistakable, but Carey was either drinking or he was in a deep nap. And he said, "This is Elvis. Elvis who?" And he said, "Elvis Presley." Come on. He's, no. He says, "How are the Cubs going to do this year, or the Cardinals, whichever team he was doing, probably the Cardinals." So Harry went along with him, and he said, "Fine." Okay, but he says, I can't be talking to Elvis." So the caller on the other line says, "Meet me downstairs in front of the hotel that you're in, and I'll prove to you that I'm Elvis Presley." So Carey goes downstairs, and coming around the corner, this huge Cadillac. And Carey gets in, and they go to the mansion. Beer, sausages, hot dogs, but the big ribs and all of that. So he had to get to the arena where the basketball games were being played. "No sweat," says Elvis, "I'm taking you in." So he had one of his drivers, and Elvis rode along, dropped him off. He did the game, and Elvis said, "At the end of the game, you come right back to this spot. The caddy will be there." When he got back, he went back to the Presley mansion, and they drank for hours. But anyway, Harry Carey, Harry Callis.
You mentioned
We talked about Chuck
before
Thompson.
We went to the commercial break.
Say that again?
Joe Garagiola?
What do you think? Great, or, yeah?
I like to stay with Al Michaels myself.
Al Michaels?
Yes.
Not one of my favorites.
He's broadcast some historic events,
Yeah, he
much
has.
like Chuck Thompson.
Okay, we mentioned.
Ray Scott, going back
Yeah,
to yesteryear.
I got him on the other
Yeah,
page.
And Jack Buck I always liked.
Yep.
And,
I met Jack Buck once.
Did you?
Yep.
I understand he's a great guy to be around.
Only once.
Okay,
Didn't meet his younger son, and he is smooth. Joe Buck is is great.
Yeah.
Musburger.
Brent Musburger was Paul, our audience guest favorite.
Okay.
One of his favorites.
Who else do we have? Come on, guys, help me out.
Bob Costas?
Bob Costas. I'm not so sure.
No, I don't like him.
I don't think he's
That doesn't mean I don't like the guy.
Yeah, I know.
Mount Rushmore worthy.
Yeah.
How about our own Penguins announcer?
Mike Lang.
Mike Lang. There you go, Chris. There you go.
Boy, when he, in about 2 years,
You're
it'll
reaching.
be Mike Lang's 40th year as a
Yeah.
Penguin announcer.
Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Mike Lang did Pirate Baseball at a time. Yeah, that was Home Sports Entertainment.
Home Sports, yeah.
Back in the,
I'm going to say 84,
I was
85.
going to say
Maybe
early
86,
80s. So,
yeah.
But the part that always puzzled me was, why is he not doing the Penguins on TV? I say nothing about Staggerwald. Staggy's good.
Bill,
Staggy is good.
Bill, I can't think of his name. He was from Toronto. He came down to run what's now Root Sports. It was Fox Sports Net Pittsburgh
Okay.
for a while. Bill, and his name escapes me.
Doesn't start with an S.
Not Bill Strong.
That's what
This
I
is
was
somebody
saying.
else.
Strong is the one that took the
Yeah.
credit for firing Prince.
Yeah.
So,
After he left town, I think.
He's forgot one. How about Bill Hillgrove? He's popular.
Yeah.
Bill Hillgrove.
Bill Hillgrove's, you're talking about 50 years for Bill Hillgrove, and a great guy, too. But Mike Lang, to answer somebody's question, he was ousted from TV. They just didn't want him. He just thought he was better at radio. And it was the same guy that insisted for a while that Lanny Fratteri just do baseball and Greg Brown, baseball and radio, and Greg Brown do the TV for the Pirates. And his first name is Bill. And what happens, Bob? You're in the business. They bring these people in from out of town that don't know the market, don't know the area,
and they
make changes just to put their footprint on something, and it turns out to be not a good change, and they're out of town before you know it, and somebody else has come in now to try to put their footprint on it.
And I'm sure you guys might remember when Lang, in his broadcast for Penguin Hockey on TV, was a simulcast for the radio network.
Right.
Boy, that had to be tough. Yeah. That had to be a challenge. You did that a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, with what we were doing live audio for Channel 3, and at the same time we were doing play-by-play.
Right.
So what you want to do is picture your audience trying to keep up with their moving left to right. Somebody watching it on TV will say, I know they're going from left to right.
Yeah.
And I know Valley is wearing black, and I know Burl's wearing blue. Why are you telling me this? Well, because of the live audio with no picture. So, okay.
We've got a pretty nice list there.
Prince, Kelly, and Scott, Callis and Carey, Thompson, Garagiola, Michaels, Buck, and the other Buck, Musburger, Costas, Lang, and Hillgrove.
And one of my personal favorites, Dick Enberg. And
oh, that's right. I didn't note his Dick Enberg.
Did you guys mention Milo Hamilton at all?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, now, I don't know that Milo is worthy to be on Mount Rushmore.
I think he is.
Milo, when he went, did he go back to Houston?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, he just does, I think he's gone altogether now, but for the last several years, he just did the home games on cable for Houston. He was in Houston for a long time.
We were, okay, the guy with, used to do the bowling on ABC. What?
Chris Schenkel.
Chris Schenkel,
Yeah.
that's another one. Also, I mentioned the guy that rolled over the hill. What was his name?
Keith Jackson. Yeah,
Keith Jackson.
Poor Keith. But you talk about him, you identify him, Bob, so closely with college football.
Because of the upper far west.
Yes.
He was with Washington, the Huskies, right?
For a long time, and then he did ABC's Game of the Week, and then he did the Rose Bowl for a long time. You know, when you heard Keith Jackson's voice, you know it was a big game. It was coming on, and a lot of times it was something like the Rose Bowl. It was a major event.
And there's another story, and I've got a home studio myself that I do my radio shows in, but this goes, when I first heard of this, I thought, God, they must love this guy. They had fixed Keith Jackson up with a home studio, and he was doing Sportscast Live, you know, like I guess they got him a little wire machine, and he would take, you know, what the heck? They had the money. So he's doing a sportscast from his home in that little booth that's soundproof, okay, and didn't realize that the dog was in there. Now, the dog is not really making any noise, but it's moving around his legs. And he said, oh, if I only had a dog biscuit for this character here. Drove him nuts for a while, but anyway, folks, we're talking about some announcers would like to stick on Mount Rushmore if we had a sports.
How about you yourself, Bob?
No, please. I wouldn't make a pebble.
I don't think so, because in the AK Valley you did the best.
Bob?
Because when I was in on it, I mean, all I remember was a radio that was taped to a microphone.
Bob Prince, Dan Kelly, Ray Scott are three of the four heads we would put on Mount Rushmore.
The fourth one is quite debatable.
Charlie Jones.
Who?
Charlie Jones for NBC. There was another one that did a lot of
You know
big
what?
games.
You're right.
Yeah, he did a lot of big games.
And who was the guy that presented Bradshaw for the Hall of Fame?
Vern Lundquist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's still at it.
Lundquist.
Yes.
Yeah. And who was the last one? I didn't, well,
Charlie Jones.
Charlie Jones.
From, NBC.
Okay, we're heading there. Folks, we're coming up on break time. George is going to have to disappear, so I've got the last 10 minutes on my own. Okay. George, it was good to see you. Folks, wave while we go to break. So stay with us, Sportsline Trivia. We'll be back in a moment. Yeah, you're going to be up next, so... This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. And if you folks love pizza, I want you to try Mattio's in Brackenridge Heights. Mattio's, with great quality ingredients, they make great pizza, gyro sandwiches, subs, hoagies, calzones, strombolis. Their signature sandwich is the Iron Man hoagie. Give them a try. Mattio's Pizza, 724-904-7312. I was going to take a short swig of water, but we're going to table that. Chris, you're next from the audience here to chat with us briefly. We've got a few minutes anyway. And right before the break, what is it with this earpiece? Driving me nuts. Right before the break, we were talking about some of the announcements. We wanted to make our own Mount Rushmore of great broadcasters. We have 3 of the 4, and we're leaving the 4th one open if you want to join in the conversation. Bob Prince, Dan Kelly, Ray Scott, and the other honorable mentions, and they're all great. Dick Enberg, Harry Callis, Harry Carey, Chuck Thompson, Joe Garagiola, Al Michaels, Jack Buck, Joe Buck, Brent Musburger, Bob Costas, Mike Lang, Bill Hillgrove, Chris Schenkel, Keith Jackson, Vern Lindquist, and Charlie Jones.
How about the voiceover over at Lernerville? He used to be over at the Motor Drum as well. Don Gamble, he was good.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Well,
he does
we're
rap on
talking.
racing as well.
I think we got to go on a national scale with this, so Chris. So
okay, but
anyway.
as far as anything local, I think Ron Spinelli is about the best voiceover in the AK Valley, and then Jeff Allen.
Okay.
Then you yourself, you did some voiceover work too. I remember.
Yeah, a little bit here and there. So what's on your mind sports-wise?
Okay, sports-wise, I would definitely think that Harrison's headed to Seattle or somewhere on the other end there. I mean, somewhere that has.
You're talking about the NFC?
Yes.
Well, the talk was he's talking with the Cleveland Browns. The biggest threat that we have offensively, one of the bigger threats, would be our receiver Wallace. And he's the fastest man in football today, offensively. I'm not sure about the timings on some of the other ball players, but that's all you ever hear when they talk about Chris Wallace is his speed. I would hate to lose this guy, but if you were in his shoes and you had that opportunity to make much, much, much more, what would you do?
I don't know. I think I'd go to Cleveland or Baltimore and go back and fight against our rivals.
And fight against?
Go against the Steelers because when
it's not that the Steelers don't want him; they just can't afford him. You've got to understand. They know it, and the Steelers know it. This is a business, and you don't get even with somebody. It's like when Yager was. I'm trying to think of the exact situation here with Yager. There was something about Alshon. And it had to do with a rematch with the Penguins, and they were saying, wait a minute, they offered Yager a pretty decent package to stay with the Penguins, and he turned them down. And then he went on, I think he played with the Rangers, Philadelphia, those 2 teams in particular. Chris, it's one of those situations where you've got to make up your mind as a player, or if you're on the other end of the bargaining table and you're with a team, that you can only go so high. And when the players working with an agent that said we're either going to get this or we're not going to go anywhere at all, then that's what you're going to be shooting for, because he already knows the other teams and what they're going to offer him to go with them. So that's the situation the Steelers are in with Wallace.
I just like to see somewhere that they're not concerned too much about the sourcing and themselves. I don't want somebody that's self-serving looking for themselves. I want somebody that's going to show competition on the team.
Well, it's somebody was saying today, and I forget who it was. They're very much concerned. The Steelers were normally a pretty stable ball club. They were able to, if they're going to lose somebody, it might be one every once in a while, but not like this year, which has produced the possibility of an exodus of some pretty good people from the Steelers staff. So,
do you feel it's the economy purposes that all this is happening with the Steelers? Because usually they try to...
No. It's the same old story, Chris. It has nothing to do with politics or anything else. It's simply the almighty dollar and what they're going to get out of the deal.
So as the car salesman would say, cash is king. Whatever.
You got it.
Okay.
Everything else walks. So, all right, Chris. What do you want to do with your trivia?
Multiple choice, please.
Multiple choice. Guys, can we go with number 6? Okay. Chris, I'm doing this because we've got a situation here that I had to work with regarding moving, so we're not going in order.
No problem.
Actually, we're missing 3, 4, and 5 for a particular reason. So we're jumping up to number 6, and the question is, who was the first college basketball player to score 3,000 points? And that is a pretty hefty total. All right? Your choices are Elvin Hayes, Pistol Pete Maravich, Oscar Robertson, or Freeman Williams.
Freeman Williams.
Well, you were quick on that, but it's incorrect. Freeman Williams is not the guy. Pete Maravich, interesting story about the Maravich family. You can go ahead and sit down, Chris.
Thank you.
The Maravich family, the father, Press Maravich, from either Ambridge or Aliquippa, that end of the town for here in western PA. The son goes to LSU, and in his freshman year, he could not play varsity. It was a rule then that as a freshman, you could not make the varsity team. So they did not count any of his points tallied as a freshman. So the first player in college basketball to notch 3,000 points did it playing only sophomore, junior, and senior seasons. Pete Maravich, the late Pete Maravich, I might add. So we're going to give away that coupon from Liberty Tax Service in Natrona Heights to the limo man who won earlier. In fact, he's our only winner today. So that's going to be going out to him in addition to whatever other prize we managed to get out to Bruce, the limo man. And we want to thank all of you folks for coming up and give us a final wave, if you will. Some of the great people from, there you go, Liberty Tax Service of Natrona Heights from their office. Chris and Paul, thank you for coming up to spend some time with George and I. And we're going to keep building on this list of sports announcers that we want to do a Mount Rushmore for. And who knows, out of the 3 that we picked, of the 4 that we need, we might even bump one of those in favor of somebody else. Thanks for watching our Sportsline program tonight. I'm Bob Tattern, and on behalf of George Guido, thank you for watching. God bless. Have a great week.
Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Rasevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.